Okay, we're into another episode of On the Wrist from Off the Cuff. To have a really cool strap review for you guys from the brand Crafter Blue. A little about them. They're out of Hong Kong. They were established back in 2015, and they're an aftermarket professional grade rubber strap maker, and they've made tons of different straps. They even adventured into making wristwatches, which has been very, very cool. But this is one of their newer aftermarket strap options, and it is for a very, very popular watch in the Tissot PRX. This is application specific in terms of being able to fit here. They make a few different application specific models. This one was made very, very cool and very smartly for this very popular Swiss made watch, especially with, of course, all of the kind of competitiveness around these Genta inspired steel sports watches. I think it was really smart for them to come out with something quite affordable, but still feels very cool, commensurate with the quality of this particular Tissot, which I think a lot of people do find it to kind of punch above its weight. So with all that said, let's go ahead, zoom the camera out, get this piece in hand, and take a closer look. Okay guys, now before we dive in, let's take a look at the bracelet here. So very nice, of course, but one of the things that you get here is this butterfly style deployant versus a standard clasp where you would have some level of micro adjust. So although these are pretty short links, it would be a little difficult for some, depending on the size of your wrist, to get what we would consider a perfect fit. But one of the nice things is right out of the factory, they really put some engineering into this for quick and easy exchanges by having that be a toolless, quick release spring bar. So very cool. And the folks over at Crafter Blue decided to key in on that and create something quite similar. If I can get the camera to focus, there you go. Create something using the same style, and then essentially what they did is they just built in that metal end link and then created this beautiful FKM rubber strap that has a matching kind of grid style pattern that goes really, really well with this beautiful dial, which is very eye-catching. One of the great things about this dial is you not only have that grid or waffle pattern, you also do have little machining lines in terms of getting a bit of a sun ray effect as well, which I think is really, really nice. And you can see there's a lot of play in terms of the light. Here, of course, though, one of the smart things is they chose a nice shade of blue that I feel goes really well, even though the dial is quite dynamic and shifts in color, depending on the lighting situation. Here, the blue that's going to be used is going to be more of kind of an even medium tone, not too dark, not too light. Definitely, I would say on the darker side, closer to a navy blue. A little dusty there. That's one of the nice things is with this FKM rubber, you can see the dust blows right off and it doesn't it doesn't stick, which is really, really nice. So getting into some of the specifications, this is going to be pure vulcanized FKM rubber. So it is, anti-ultraviolet, anti-dust, and anti-allergic, which is great. So in terms of the way that it's going to wear, the way it's going to hold up, very nice. Also on the underside, you're going to see quite a bit. And again, let's go ahead and knock a little bit of that dust off, which is great. Boom. You got some nice channels, and this is stuff that, of course, Crafter Blue has learned from their experience making dive watch straps. So, this is going to be something that's going to be quite comfortable. Also, you're going to notice a bit of a taper, a little bit more structure up here towards the lug, and then much slimmer as you get down to the tongue and the tang buckle end. And speaking of the tang buckle, check this out. Nice and clean, nothing crazy. I think it might have been nice if they would have tried to kind of mirror the the case construction a little bit more to kind of reflect back a similar aesthetic here. I mean, I'm not saying it doesn't suit it, but I think they could have went a little bit more kind of within theme. It's a very lovely buckle, though, fully milled. You guys can see even the finger itself is nicely milled. It has a nice angle on it, so when you do weave this through, it's gonna have a great way that it seats. Another thing to mention about the way that this buckle is going to seat, let's go ahead and let that focus. You can see there's a channel cut out in there. So essentially when you're going to get this on, it's going to hook, and then with that dip, that's going to make that sit so nice. And of course, there with these, you know, with the texturing that's on here, and this is rubber, it's going to grip. So you might fight it once in a while, a little bit, getting it into these keepers. The nice thing is once you get it there, it sits, it sets, it's beautiful. And you can see because of that angle on there, it actually locks in the strap really well. And there's nothing that like wants to butt up at all, which I really can appreciate. And you know, again, just nice executing. You can see that's going to lay nice and flat. And that's another thing that I feel like was a really nice little bonus to putting it on the strap is, I don't know, something about it. It just makes it feel like it wears a little bit flatter on the wrist. So let's actually get this on the wrist. I know normally we cut away for that if this was a watch review, but since it's a strap review, we'll go ahead and demo that for you. So we'll go ahead, put this here, pull that through, boom, boom. All right, check that out. We'll go ahead and move these out of the way here. Again, lovely bracelet. It's kind of one of the huge selling points of this particular PRX, and this is the 40mm variant. So of course, this strap is going to be made for the 40mm variations, not for their smaller 36 brethren. But check that out, guys. Very, very nice. Of course, if I get my wrist a bit too close to the camera there, you're going to get some perspective distortion where it's going to just appear slightly larger on the wrist. And I do have a 7.5 inch wrist. You can see the watch head is actually really nicely centered on my wrist. So what I'll do is I'll tighten up the frame here so you guys can still get a detailed look, but just, you know, holding it to a bit of a truer aspect ratio. You can see a lot more strap on the ends there, really helping frame the watch on the wrist. So really nice, very wide in terms of the structure here, then tapers down nice and naturally, and that wide stance just flows really well with the case. And again, it just gives it a bit of, I don't know, like sporty, but somehow also a bit of an upscale sportiness to it, which I dig. And I mean, that was kind of the whole goal of these watches, was to really give you something that felt, you know, quite a bit more expensive than it actually is. And I mean, even the prices on these watches have been really, you know, quite competitive, and that's why they've been very, very popular. To where you're not, you know, people aren't even searching necessarily straight to the gray market for these. You're able to buy these direct at a really solid price, even if you're paying full retail. So really nice. But we can go ahead and, you know, pull back out here. But as you guys can see, really nice. Not, again, not too much to say. It's a strap at the end of the day. Does it wear well? Yeah, it holds the piece nice on the wrist. You can see I can give it a nice shake and it's not going anywhere. Actually, you know, I got about one finger in terms of the room there. It's still gripping to my wrist really nice. I don't have to overly tighten it to make sure that it's anchored, and I really do appreciate that about this strap. So some more details, guys, in terms of those features. Of course, it does have that stainless steel tang buckle, which is not signed on the outside, but it is signed on the underside. In terms of colorways, guys, you can get it in black. This is the navy. You can also get it in green, gray, turquoise, or orange, and those are all going to be, of course, meant to play off of those particular dials, which is fantastic. It is designed to fit only the 40mm model. But you can also, you know, suit it to either the automatic or the quartz variations, which is great. Also, in terms of the adjustability, you're going to get 12 different holes there. So that's a nice range if you have a larger wrist or a smaller wrist. You guys can see me at 7.5 inches. I still, you know, I haven't even barely got into there, but I also still do have quite a bit of room if my wrist was larger or it gets more swollen or something like that. So really nice. And then of course you do have that quick release design, just if you do want to swap back to your bracelet or something like that, you know, you do have that option. And then in terms of some of the specifications, guys, on the buckle side, this is going to be 18mm at the end of that taper. And then You know, in terms of the wrist sizes, this is going to accommodate everything from about 5.2 inches to 8.2 inches, or 133 millimeters to 210 millimeters. And then in terms of the strap length itself, typically, you know, this is going to be, I think on the buckle side is going to be 80 millimeters, and then on the tail end it's going to be 125, which is a good length to where it's not going to give you so much extra tail if your wrist is a little bit smaller. You can see here, perfect for me. All the tail is just right on the underside. None of it creeps out to the other and you know, kind of swings out and looks unkept. So I really do like that. So, and then in terms of the thickness, again, you do get a bit of a taper from about 5 millimeters down to about 3.5 millimeters. So yeah, I'm really digging this, guys. What do you think? I think it looks great. Looks great on the wrist. Really livens the watch up, makes it feel almost like a new watch, which is great because I've had this watch for quite a few years now, and I have quite a few competitors to this watch that I really have taken a liking to. So putting it on this strap actually gives me some more options and makes me feel like it gives me, you know, more reasons to wear this. I know not everybody has YouTube watch reviewer problems of having too many watches, but for those of you that do have a large collection and you're looking to kind of re-fall in love with your particular Tissot PRX, I definitely recommend these because I think that they just add the right amount of fun, right amount of flair, and I really dig that. So this just really complements the PRX. Again, almost makes it feel like a new watch. I mean, not completely new, but again, it just freshens it up ever so much to where you just feel the difference, which is nice. Very comfortable, finely crafted, definitely does have a premium feel. Not a luxury, you know, feel, guys. You're still gonna have, you know, little mold lines and stuff like that here and there. So I mean, don't expect this to be, you know, feeling like some $300 you know, OEM Patek, you know, or I should say the $300 Patek straps cost way more than $300. But so let's say Omega, $300 Omega rubber strap or something like that. Well, don't expect that. But for a Tissot, it actually fits the, you know, the build quality perfectly. So fine mix of style and performance all the way around. But let me know what you guys all think down in the comments below. If you like the video, please do it like, and if you haven't already, please subscribe for more content just like this. Thanks, guys.